10 of the most fascinating animal migrations in the world. Many animals and birds make seasonal migrations from one habitat to another in search of food, better weather conditions, and suitable sites for reproduction. These migrations are awe-inspiring feats of survival and endurance. The enormous distances are impressive, and the conditions challenging, with animals dodging predators and obstacles. These large groups of migrating animals provide us with great spectacles of colour and synchronized movement. So let's look at some of the epic and also some of the lesser known migrations on this planet. Here are my top 10. Number 1. None is more fascinating than the migration of the bar-tailed godwit. This bird flies non-stop from Alaska to New Zealand twice a year, without sleep or rest, for a whopping 11,200 kilometers or 7,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean, all in about 8 days straight. It is the longest known non-stop flight of any bird. They go to the Arctic to breed, with longer daylight hours and more food, and then fly south again to avoid the harsh winter. These birds are adapted to fly long distances. Their bodies store lots of fat for fuel. Amazingly, they also reduce their digestive organs by up to 25% to save weight. Number 2. Another amazing bird is the Arctic tern. Their epic trip starts in the Arctic at the end of the summer, once they have bred. As the winter rolls in, they head south, all the way down to Antarctica, with the warmer weather, longer days, and abundant fish life. As the winter arrives there, they head back up north to complete the more than 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 mile round trip. The tern colony all flies together, leaving the nests all at once. These tough birds spend most of their lives in the air, only touching down to nest and raise chicks. They mate for life and can live up to 30 years, amazing for such small birds and for such an extreme lifestyle. Terns have evolved to fly long distances. They are lightweight and can glide on ocean breezes for great distances without using a lot of energy. Arctic terns can sleep and eat while gliding. When sleeping, half their brain stays awake to keep them in the air. The other half gets rest. They can double their weight before starting off on a migration. And number 3. One of the most spectacular migrations is the wildebeest migration in the African plains of the Serengeti. Every year, 1.2 million wildebeest move in an enormous loop through Tanzania and Kenya. 30,000 zebras and Thompson gazelles join the trip too. They follow the rains and the fresh green grass that pops up afterwards. Staying put is not an option with all those mouths to feed, and little grass is available in the dry season. This journey is a 1,200-mile trip with many dangers along the way, like hungry lions and hyenas, and crocodiles at tricky river crossings. The Mara River crossing is the most perilous, but their huge numbers help many survive. And number 4. Humpback whales feed off the coast of Alaska in summer, where there is abundant krill and small fish, very important for animals weighing 36 tons or 79,000 pounds. This helps them to build up blubber for their long migrations. When winter comes, they swim to the warmer waters near Hawaii and Mexico, where they breed and give birth to their calves, in the absence of killer whales. Adult whales don't eat while they're there. The humpback whales swim up to 16,000 kilometers each year and can swim up to 200 kilometers in one day. They are well kitted out for this trip with large fins and tails up to 5.5 meters wide. Amazingly, the young calves have to make it all the way back to the Arctic at just a few months old, while learning to breach, dive, and avoid predators. Another whale, the grey whale, migrates from its feeding grounds in the Arctic, where it dines on crustaceans, to Baja California, Mexico. They breed in the shallow, warmer waters. This is a 12,000-mile round trip taking a few months, during which they rely on blubber and not food. They float motionless or swim slowly to rest. And number 5. Green turtles are master ocean swimmers and navigators. They swim thousands of miles between their feeding and nesting grounds. Female turtles return each time to the beach that they themselves hatched at to lay their eggs. Green turtles have been known to travel up to 4,000 kilometers in just 68 days. For example, some trek from Brazil to Ascension Island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Others swim from Indonesia to Australia. These trips help green turtles find food and mates. They also keep the species healthy by mixing up the gene pool. And number 6. In one of the largest concentrations of mammals on Earth, 10 million straw-coloured fruit bats descend on a tiny patch of evergreen swamp forest every year. The bats arrive from across Central Africa, from sub-Saharan Africa and the southwestern Arabian Peninsula. Some fly over 1,500 miles to reach the specific spot in Zambia's Kasanka National Park. They arrive at the start of the wet season as the fruit on the local trees begins to ripen. This migration plays a crucial role in seed dispersion. And number 7. Monarch butterflies migrate to avoid cold temperatures in the winter. These butterflies cannot survive freezing temperatures, so they fly from Canada all the way down to Mexico, or from the Sierra Nevada mountains to the Californian coast. The northeastern American population from Canada journeys up to 4,800 kilometers or 3,000 miles. The monarch butterflies can fly up to 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters high, utilizing wind currents to fly up to 200 miles or 320 kilometers a day, at speeds of up to 24 kilometers an hour or 15 miles per hour. Monarchs store fat equal to half their body mass to provide them with energy to fly these huge distances. They make these journeys over many generations, stopping to lay eggs on milkweed plants along the way. The caterpillars eat the milkweed leaves and then finish the journeys as butterflies. The population usually cycles through 3 to 5 generations to reach their destination each way. Amazingly, the butterflies arriving at their destination, which had been born along the way, know where to go. Monarch butterflies, like green turtles, use the sun and the Earth's magnetic field to navigate. And number 8. More than 120 million red crabs can be found on the forest floor on Christmas Island off Australia. They live in dirt burrows or rock crevices in the forest. Once a year, in October or November, when the wet season is about to return, the red crabs migrate to the shore. The male crabs dig dens near the shore for the females to brood and hatch their eggs. Once they've mated, the males return to the forest. The females retreat to the dens, where each can lay up to 100,000 eggs, which they hold in their abdominal sacs. After 12 to 13 days, with the arrival of the waning moon, the females go to the sea and release the eggs in the water. The females that survive the dance with the waves then return to the forest. The eggs hatch soon afterwards, and the larvae remain in the water for a month, passing through various larval stages. Those that survive then begin their journey back into the rainforest as tiny crabs. They run the gauntlet with predators such as yellow crazy ants. Amazingly, the young crabs know where to go. And number 9. Bar-headed geese breed in Central Asia, typically near mountain lakes. They migrate south to winter in South Asia, reaching as far south as the Indian Peninsula. Impressively though, they fly directly over the Himalayas, where they fly at altitudes exceeding 27,000 feet or 8,200 meters. They may stop at various places such as western Tibet and southern Tajikistan. Flight is the most metabolically intense form of vertebrate locomotion, so birds use enormous amounts of oxygen to fly. Yet, at the altitudes of the Himalayas, only a third of the oxygen is available in the air, as opposed to that available in the air at sea level. The geese also do not get high altitude sickness as human beings would. To cope with the oxygen-thin air, the geese have developed unique respiratory and metabolic adaptations. They have higher quality hemoglobin, a greater density of capillaries, and extra lung sacs. They're also able to adapt to lowered body temperatures. Studies suggest too that they can slow down their metabolism to reduce oxygen demand during flight in low oxygen environments. And if that wasn't impressive enough, studies suggest that they also make the Himalayan crossing part of the journey in one go, in around 7 hours. These flights are typically completed at night or early morning. The air at this time is cooler and denser, so the oxygen levels are at their greatest at this point. And number 10. Huge herds of caribou or reindeer, numbering in the hundreds of thousands, go on epic treks across the Arctic tundra every year, covering up to 3,000 miles. These migrations are driven by the need to find suitable calving grounds in the spring and fresh grazing areas in the winter. These incredible journeys often take them over mountains and through icy rivers and harsh weather. They face threats including predators, such as wolves. Caribou have wide hooves to help them walk on the snow. They can also swim and are buoyant due to their coat. One of their 2 coat layers is made up of hollow hairs that trap air, which also helps to keep them warm. So there you have it. How fascinating is that? And there are so many more fantastic animal journeys that I didn't cover here. And aren't you glad that you don't have to migrate twice every year? Join me next time as we look at some other animal migration topics. Topics we will explore include what challenges they face and how animals know where to go. Well, that's it for now. Let me know in the comments what migration struck you as the most challenging. And if you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe. Until next time, enjoy.